What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into DC Comics vs. Vampires, issue number 9. As we get into this issue, we are following our heroes as they go and try to save the world, as Green Arrow heads over to Smallville. He is focusing on the blood farms. The blood farms, which are amounting to being more or less concentration camps. Good pockets of humanity that are left over. They are stuck inside of the blood farms, and they have slowly been milked dry. And then you have Supergirl, Black Manta, and Steel, accompanied by one of the Wonder Twins. They are headed for the source. They are headed for King Nightwing. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are starting off in Smallville. We have a small group of vampires who are currently coming and hunting down somebody, being just moments behind him. Before they get the opportunity to really track him down, we see the Green Arrows come flying in. Giant explosions of gasoline. This barn is going up into absolute flames. These vampires never had a chance of making it out alive. And while one of them does slowly be able to crawl out, he is greeted by Green Arrow. He had mixed holy water and gasoline, a very deadly combination for any vampire. And at first, he does consider letting this vampire go, letting this vampire live so that he can send a message. But Green Arrow, he decides otherwise. He has some other plans, and he is going to deliver this message by himself. That is what takes us over to the Coral Sea. We have Black Manta, we have Steel, Supergirl, and our Wonder Twin. As they barely made it out of these waters, just on the horizon, they can see Australia. In this small moment, the one of happiness and hope, not believing that they would even make it to this spot. Now that they have, there is a sigh of relief that goes over the both of them. The problem is, this is when the waters come alive, and that is because the Atlanteans are not done with them. And so while Steel rushes over to wake the others, we are taken to the outskirts of Gotham City, having individuals like Power Girl up in the sky patrolling. They are patrolling for the Vampire Nation. Gotham being the new hub, the new center of the entire world. It is the most protected city on the planet. And right now, Harley Quinn is trying to show them how to get inside. The only problem, all of the tunnels, all of the passageways, they have been shut down. It has been months since Harley Quinn has found her way to this location. And in that time, all of the vampires, they have located these little getaways, these little underground railroads. This means they have one option. They have to go across the water. They have to be out in the open. They have to risk everything if they plan to get to Nightwing. Taking us over to Smallville at our blood farm, we have two vampires that are currently patrolling around the fence line. As they do, we have a young gentleman come up to them, let them know that they need food. The only problem, there has been a delay in the shipment of more or less moss that they get in. The only substance that has been keeping them alive, it comes from the Swamp Thing. Now, as this individual has this argument with these vampire guards, something is sneaking up on them. That something just so happens to be Green Arrow. Taking down these vampires very quickly. The man on the other side of the fence had helped him in taking down these vampires. And so Green Arrow going up to have a conversation with him, we learn that his name is Cole Cash, also known as Grifter. Now at first, Grifter believes that Green Arrow is here to save the day, that this is some kind of rescue attempt. But the truth is, he is here for the big man. He is here for the Lord, the man in charge, letting Cole Cash know that he is going to return when the big man does come out. Because while he would love to help these people, he wants to take down the man in charge. Taking us to just off the coast of Australia, we have Steel and all of our heroes fighting for their lives. They are currently going against the Atlantean Royal Guard. Much tougher, much stronger, but there is much more meaning to this. Because if the Royal Guard has arrived, that means he has arrived. He, of course, is Aquaman. As they are immediately hit with thousands of gallons of water, they do their best to hold on, and then Black Manta steps into play. This is when Arthur lets it be known that this Black Manta is not in fact the adversary that Arthur has had over all these years. He knows because Black Manta had died a coward's death, at least according to Arthur, telling Black Manta to reveal yourself. Show me who you are and why you stand against me. Removing the helmets, we see that this is Mira. Everybody's shocked, even Arthur himself. But Mira lets him know that you don't talk to me, calling him nothing more than a creature, because she knows the man that she once knew, he is gone, and nothing more than a monster stands before her. Jumping back over to Smallville, we see the assault begin. As the gates open up, we see vampire after vampire come pouring out of the gateway. Green Arrow ready, locked and loaded. He is shooting every single arrow that he has. As one by one, these vampires turn into ash. This is when we see Loose Cannon, this giant monstrosity turned vampire. He thinks he may be a match for Green Arrow, until Loose Cannon, he gets 2 arrows directly into his eyes, blinded and dropping down to the ground. Before he can get the opportunity to give that deathly blow to Loose Cannon, this is where the big man arrives. That, of course, is Hawkman. Hawkman grabbing hold of Green Arrow, lifting him up into the air. We have to assume that Green Arrow had some kind of plan, as he did a full-on assault of the blood farm. Now, taking us back over to the ocean, Mira and Arthur, they find themselves in the depths. Not really sure what to do, where to go next. Almost assured that Aquaman is going to kill Mira. They have to get out of here. They have to make their way to land. Unfortunately, this is when we see Arthur come out of the water, letting Supergirl know that she looks weak, she looks powerless, that if she were to simply join like Kal-El did, she could have all her power back. As our Wonder Twin takes the form of a water bear, probably one of the most idiotic things that you could possibly do in this situation. You attack Aquaman in the form of water. He is the Lord of all water. With the flick of his wrist, we see our Wonder Twin turned into pink mist. This is when Arthur takes a hammer directly to his face. Steel taking the biggest swing that he possibly can, making Arthur bleed. And while Steel may be strong, he is not strong enough to take on Aquaman. But this was nothing more than a distraction. That is when Mira comes back out of the water. We see a giant explosion. Everybody is shot in opposite directions, with Supergirl being dragged under, ropes attached to her hip, unable to break free, unable to get loose. Our Kryptonian, she falls to the bottom. Meanwhile, we have the birds of prey getting ready to make their journey across the water, formulating their plan, getting ready to put it into action. That is until we have the vampire hunter show up, the one and only Damian Wayne, letting them know that he can get them into Gotham. And though he may be a vampire, right now he is their last, best, and only shot at taking down the King Vampire. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This one was a ton of fun, but it does have me thinking. We are 9 issues deep, and we have barely seen anything of Superman. This is kind of disappointing, especially with them being in Smallville. It really set it up like he was gonna go talk to Superman, but it turns out it was nothing more than Hawkman. While formidable, it's definitely a letdown. I feel like they really teased it up like it was going to be Superman, only for it to be Carter. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but the problem is, you have this DC Comics versus vampires. Somehow, Superman was turned into a vampire, yet somehow Starfire, her body's physiology doesn't allow for her to be turned into a vampire. I don't know why the same thing couldn't apply to Superman, or any Kryptonian for that matter, but it does make more sense if we think about it in the terms that the sky was blacked out. Superman's powers were taken from him because of lack of radiation. The sun's rays were not hitting him. And so if Supergirl is powerless, that would mean Superman is also powerless, which means his powers are only vampirism, which in turn means he is not as formidable as he had once been. But still, being able to see that part of the story, showing us how Superman was turned and what he has been up to, I think would really help this story out, because he is such a big power player. You either have to kill him off, or at least explain what has been happening with him. I feel like they have been actively avoiding using Superman in any real context, and that is because of how powerful he can be. They wanted to try to write him out of the story the best possible way they could. I definitely was not expecting our Wonder Twin to end so very quickly, but it is definitely a promising story. It has still continued to hold up after issue after issue. And with issue number 10, we are going to see all of these confrontations currently ongoing really meet their fruition. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with this event, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with DC versus vampires. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon, having 5 different tiers from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges all the way to getting free comics every single month. Not only do you get tons of perks for being a channel member, but it also helps out the YouTube channel tremendously. If you cannot do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.